We're excited. We just had a moment where we went like this. Oh my gosh, yes. This is our job today. Okay, the pandemic spawned a love of cooking for many of us, including a Shoreview native.
Anthony Gilbert started experimenting with homemade pizza, and after some trial and error, he landed on a pretty sweet recipe. From there, Melt Pizza Company was born. It started as a pop-up concept, but now they have a permanent home in Stillwater that I hear is very hard to get into because you're constantly selling out. Anthony, welcome to studio, and thank you for bringing all of these delicious goods for us. Before we get really into it, tell us what we have here, because obviously there's some pizza, but there's a couple other things here too.
Absolutely. So we have our Filipino-inspired chicken adobo wings. We have our spicy vodka rigatoni, and then we have 3 of our best-selling house Detroit-style pizzas. We have our OG sausage pepperoni roasted garlic. We have a dream team, which is pepperoni, ricotta, fresh basil, hot honey. And then we have our play on a margarita, which is topped with vodka sauce as opposed to red sauce.
Okay, so you brought the Detroit-style pizzas. They're beautiful. They're these squares. They have this thick crust. Tell us what sets Detroit-style apart.
Yeah, so Detroit style it's like a focaccia-like dough. So we ferment the dough. We start it overnight, and then we bake it off in the mornings. It's like nice focaccia loaf of bread, and then it gets baked again with the toppings to finish. So you get this ultra crispy, crunchy bottom, light, delicate inside, and then you get this cheese wall kind of outer crust that happens.
Love the cheese wall that happens.
The cheese wall.
It's a great way to put
so
it.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, you just said this overnight. So this is not your average. You're making the dough, you're whipping it out. It just takes like an hour or two.
Yeah, it's a completely different process than traditional kind of pizza making. We start the dough overnight in our mixer, and then it gets mixed in the mornings. It proofs in each of these pans individually, and then they get baked off a couple hours later. So I like to tell people right now our dough for this style is about a 24-hour dough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Kendall mentioned it. We have heard that it is the hottest spot in town. It's hard to get into. How has it been since you've opened?
You know, the reception has been really crazy. It's been cool to see people coming from far and wide just to try this pizza, and you know, people are waiting over 2 hours just to get a table just to try this pizza, and it's truly remarkable to me. So I feel very
you're looking
fortunate.
at the line and you're like, y'all want my pizza?
Exactly.
You've got a pretty good following on social media too, because you post the best photos of pizza. I saw one that I was like, I don't even know what this place is. I don't live anywhere near Stillwater, but the McLovin.
Yep.
You have some fun takes on pizza. Talk about that one, and then get into like, why do you get to do fun things like this with Detroit style pizza specifically?
Yeah, the McLovin was fun. We did that for a brewery anniversary party. It was basically my play on a Big Mac pizza. So ground beef, house-made pickles, house-made Big Mac sauce, white onions.
Special sauce.
Special sauce, exactly. It's fun because we're able to do that with Detroit style because it's a thicker dough and it's cooked in the pan. We're able to do really robust and rich pizzas because we don't have to worry about getting them in the oven off of a pizza peel or other issues that different styles might have to put a lot of heavy, big bold toppings on it.
You've got a strong vehicle.
It's got a nice
all
base.
these ingredients.
Exactly.
Yeah. Obviously, you're super creative, and some of your recipes pull from your Filipino roots, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Explain that.
Yeah, so part of this project for me was kind of honoring my grandmother who passed, and she was first generation Filipino. She came over to this country in the 40s, and then she kind of passed a lot of these things on to me as I grew up, like adobo flavors, lumpias, that's stuff that I serve in the restaurant as kind of a nod to her and a nod to where I come from.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of personal touches to your cooking. It's not only
There
good,
is.
but it's from your heart.
Exactly. Yep, it certainly is.
What do you think she'd think of all of this? I mean, the fact that you have people lining up the door waiting for hours to try your special pizzas and other food too.
I think she'd be very proud.
Yeah.
So,
I think so too.
That's so great. Okay, I know that you just opened, and we're talking about this, how successful you've been, but anything coming up that people can watch out for where they say, okay, I need to take that trip to Stillwater?
I'm going to bring my chair and I'm going to park it in front of their parking lot until they're open.
I would say we have some new pizzas coming up. We have some new specials coming up. I'm looking to launch another crust option as well, a traditional New York slice. So as well as the Detroit styles, as well as the other kind of signature Filipino dishes and pastas we're doing, I'm looking forward to expanding the menu just even past what this is and kind of make it a full service experience for customers.
I'm curious, some of these flavors, like you did one specifically for a brewery event, are you going to bring in like spring flavors? You think it's summer flavors? Because you just opened, like the world is your oyster at this point.
Right, yeah, I would like to. I'd love to use more kind of seasonal ingredients as we get into kind of warmer weather. Playing around with whatever's available to me and just finding new creations to make into the form of pizza.
And it's got to be fun being in Stillwater too. I mean, just like that community down there, and so many people who just happen upon you when they're walking around at all the shops and stuff.
It's been a great mix of people that have followed us and people that have been with us since the beginning, and then also people that have never heard of us at all or have maybe never had Detroit style pizza at all. So it's been a really good mix of customers so far.
Okay, but you probably get people that come in and are like, oh, I saw this on your Instagram and I need it.
We do. Yep, we absolutely do. Yep.
So, by the way, I'm a diligent journalist here, so I needed to try the food before I could talk. I mean,
it's research. Yep.
It's research. Delicious. This is Minnesota spicy, and I can appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I was a little nervous about spicy.
Anthony, thanks for joining us. For the latest on their menu items, you can head to meltpizzacompany.com.